play a little bit of, I don't think I've ever gone down memory lane with you. You tell me, we're going to let you hear a piece of sound.
Okay.
And I think you'll be able to tell what it is pretty quickly because people will talk over and tell you what it is pretty quickly. But this many years later, and some of them are this many years later, when you hear it, first let me ask this. How many full baseball games of yours do you think you've ever watched? Like you played in them, and how often have you ever gone back to watch the full game? 95 World Series, 2000
Zero.
You've never watched a full game?
Zero.
Have you any idea what was said nationally about a big at-bat you had, or what was said by Skip or Joe or Pete or Ernie Sr.?
Yeah.
You've heard some clips,
yes,
but you've not really watched.
No. I haven't watched one. I haven't watched very many full baseball games since I've been retired either.
Is there a game that you would watch? With the 30th anniversary of the 95 World Series, is it too easy to say Game 6? Like if we sat down to talk about Game 6, videos.
If we did a Manning cast on Game 6, I would be in for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what. Okay. Listen.
Yeah.
We almost got you to go to the Ryder Cup, except you said no. Almost got you to go to Buffalo. You said no. And maybe a Manning cast with Game 6 would be kind of interesting. Yeah. Here's the first one. Listen to this.
Slowly toward third. Samuel can't get it out of his glove, and Chipper Jones on the first pitch he sees in the major leagues is hitting 1,000.
Yeah.
You're hitting 1,000.
Yeah.
There's no place to go but down, brother.
Yeah.
What was that?
Stinks after that.
Tell everybody what that was.
That was my first at bat. I had waited quite some time to get that at bat. I got 3 at bats all of September after my call up. My job was to pinch run for Sid Bream. That was basically it. But we were crushing the Reds one night and faced a lefty named Kevin Wickender. And I was not going to leave the bat on my shoulder. I was swinging at everything. It just happened to top it right in front of home plate and beat it out.
Who's responsible for getting the ball back for you? Or did you? I'm assuming you did.
Pat Corrales got it down there at first, and then they threw it to Avery and Maddox in the dugout, and they defiled it from there.
I figured. And where does it sit as a defiled baseball?
I believe it's in a sock somewhere. I have quite a few milestone baseballs that, believe it or not, they're still in a sanitary sock stacked on top of each other.
That's old school.
But they are labeled, and that's I said, I'm not tremendously sentimental about these kind of things.
How about this one? Listen, how about you're not a home run hitter until you do this.
Deep to right field. And with one swing of his bat, Chipper Jones has untied the game. It's 3-2 Atlanta as Chipper Jones connects for a leadoff homer to start the 9th inning.
I think that's Chipper Jones' first big league home run. It is. And that was
what a time for it.
Yeah, and a rocket, too. Great extension. Look how he gets the head of the bat out there on that pitch.
You. Big shot. Welcome to the big leagues as a home run
First
hitter.
home run, Shea Stadium. That kind of started the whole Shea Stadium New York Mets thing. Top of the 9th inning off of Josias Manzanillo, who I had faced a couple times in AAA, so I knew what he had. And again, a home run or a moment that I had to wait an awfully long time for. Got called up in 93, blew out my knee in spring training of 94. Obviously, we know what happened with the strike. The season started late in 95. So it had been almost, a year and a half since I had been on a baseball diamond. And, that first home run, I think, was, a week or 2 into the season. So I'd gone quite a few at bats. But like they say in the golf world, once you make one putt, you start making them all. And I think I had 5 in a week after that first one.
What's the conversation that you're going to be a 3-hole hitter? Because, again, your resume is, oh, look, I know, number one, you had done it in the minors, then you get hurt, you got to wait. How does the conversation happen that you're actually going to be, you've got to be productive coming out of the gate? That's
the funny thing. It never was talked about, I showed up in spring training one day and I was hitting third, and it didn't seem to be all that much consternation with Fred McGriff and David Justice hitting behind me, or Marquise Grissom and Jeff Blauser, or Mark Lemke hitting in front of me. It was. I think most people just figured, hey, this kid was groomed to hit third, coming up through the minor leagues, and that's just where he was going to hit. Now, in all defense for Bobby. Bobby, that's what makes you a good manager. Okay, this kid can hit anybody's fastball. It doesn't matter how hard you throw it. Where's he going to see the most fastballs? He's going to see it hitting in front of a guy who hit 500 homers in big leagues. They fear him. They don't fear this kid yet, So I was put into the perfect situation where I've got speed in front of me and power hitting behind me.
And you told me something in 96. It was after 95, and I repeat it all the time. You drive in 100, you score 100, they can say whatever they want about you. And when analytics came into play, they can actually dig a hole and tell you you're not this and you're not that.
Yeah.
You drive in 100, you score 100, you're a productive baseball player. I don't care what anybody says. Don't let them tell you otherwise.
That was one of many goals during the course of the season. I think, obviously we play a team game, so you keep the team's goals ahead of everything else. But when you are talking about individual type numbers, how you get to the 300, 400, 500 level that very few are able to achieve, it's going out and saying, okay, from a personal standpoint, I want to hit 300. I want to drive in 100. I want to score 100. And, I think whenever you have those goals, the 300, 400, 500 just kind of takes care of itself.
Would you be a three-hole hitter? You come up now. Do you think there are some managers or systems, organizations that would not have you hitting in the three-hole these days?
Yes, I think I would probably, in this day and age, hitting the two-hole. The fact that I could run early on in my career would probably help that as well, being able to set the table. But I would quickly tell whoever I was playing for that I would prefer, if asked, I would prefer to hit third, especially now that I don't have a pitcher hitting three spots in front of me 2 or 3 times a game. I would 100% want as many ducks on the pond as possible before I came up.
Right. And the right 9-hole hitter, by the way, we don't talk about it enough in baseball. Yeah. But to get on base enough, to be driven in, opportunities enough, that's a godsend.
That's why this team was so good when Michael Harris was flourishing in the 9-hole, because he would turn the lineup over, not just with singles. I mean, he had speed, obviously, but he was doing some damage down there at the bottom as well.
All right, you brought him up. I don't know if you'll have a conversation with him today. I don't know what your relationship is with him. But we talked about mentals. He stood in front of his locker when he was not playing that first day, and I give him credit. It's the way he was raised. It's what you do. You stand at your locker and say, okay, I'm not in the lineup, but we're going to talk about it for a second. Mental, physical, whatever it might be, the tug on him, I can't even imagine what the tug on him is right now internally, let alone with what he deals with the outside, with everybody going, I don't know, that guy's got to sit. There's something going wrong with him. Do you have any concept of how, I don't know if you know him well, do you know how you would approach if he says, hey, Chip, how you doing? Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Yeah.
Is that normally how it starts?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. I'll initiate. He's super kid, really quiet. It's kind of one of those, you got to speak to him to get spoken to, kind of guys. But I will certainly reach out and just say, hey, man, I'm here for you. If you want to talk, tell me where's your head at.
You might not even have a bat in your hand. That's the other part, right? Yeah. The conversation probably needs to happen first.
Well,
then if you want to do the bat thing.
Like we said earlier, sometimes the mechanical turns into the confidence problem, or the mental, if you will. So we'll probably talk about a couple of things mechanically that I see that will hopefully get him some confidence and help the mental part of it. But he's got to keep pushing because, he's got the contract. We've already seen what's in the tank, what's in the tool belt with Michael Harris. We haven't seen a ton of it this year. We got to get that back.
All right, let me give you one more good one. What about this one?
Chipper Jones had a single his first time up. Baldwin's 2-0 pitch. Hit in the air toward the gap and left center field and carrying pretty well, and this ball is gone. Hometown hero ties it at 1.
You talk about moments, having a moment. That was having a moment for me. That was one of the, top 3, 4, 5 moments in my career, being able, it's a once in a career opportunity to be able to play an all-star game in your home ballpark in front of your home fans, to be able to strut your stuff as one of the elite of the National League against the elite of the American League, and to go out, get a base hit off of David Wells in the first inning, come up in the second. Don't think that I didn't know that Hank Aaron hit a home run in Atlanta in the All-Star game in his opportunity. So to be able to follow suit, go 3 for 3, in one of those games that I'll remember for the rest of my life, truly etched in my brain forever.
How much responsibility do you have you're not a hometown kid, but you become Bob Costas just called you a hometown hero.
I'm an Atlanta native.
Right. So, but what's the pressure when it comes to World Series All-Star games where people are sort of, hey, can you do this? Like, how quickly did you learn that trying to be the guy who's now going to try to dole out a World Series ticket or 6, trying to dole out a 12-pack of an All-Star game ticket, that you just got to go, whoa, I got a job. You really do have a job to do.
There's some pros and cons to it. I think everybody wants to have that level of respect, have that level of stature in the game, but it does come with some stuff that you have to swallow hard on. The media ops go way up. Like you said, you have family that you never knew you had that wants to come, not just come to the game, but like be a part of your life now. Be all of a sudden be a best buddy. People that you wouldn't even acknowledge your existence in high school now, want to be best friends. All these things, that goes along with it. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't trade it. It's what I signed up for. I wanted to play baseball at its highest level. I wanted to be elite at baseball at its highest level. And there's certain times when you have to swallow hard.
All right, we're going to come back. We're going to take a quick break because I want you to hear that was all the good stuff. It hasn't all been great. Mm-hmm. I don't want to bring the room down, but there's something I want you to hear, and I want your reaction when we come back. There's also, I believe I found actual audio of, Matt, did we find audio of Chipper and his dad in the backyard in like 1982 where his dad is actually, just being a baseball kind of dad helping his kid? I think we found some actual audio of that. I think we're going to play that as well. Stick around. It's all coming up right here with Chipper Jones on 680 The Fan.
Swing, high fly ball, built to right center, and the Braves have won it! That is some King Kong
I didn't know Ben was calling games back then. Who knew? Oh, a little bit of editing involved. That might be is that a Philadelphia home run? Is that perhaps against the Philadelphia Phillies? And you're not a child at that point.
The baddest ass home run.
That was my last one off of game winner off Jonathan Papelbon. Any walk-off against a division rival is a big one and a memorable one. Obviously, you want to go out with a bang. That was September 2nd.
Yeah.
So
you had another month to hit a home run.
Yes. I really felt like 470 might have been in the cards, but it wasn't, and that ended up being the last one. If it was certainly a memorable one.
How much I mentioned this about Mike Trout. I don't know if you know this. Mike Trout has missed 459 games in his career. He's 33 years old. He's got the numbers he's got, but he doesn't have 1,000 RBI yet. Doesn't have 400 homers. It feels like he should have blown past that, and he would have. He missed 459 games. Yeah. I don't know what you missed because you had, as I like to say, $10 million eyes, 10-cent feet. And we brought this up. You had to get shut down. You had surgeries, multiples. Does not having 500, I don't want to say bother you, but does it bother you?
That's a great question. It only bothers me from the standpoint of I would have been the last National League player to get 500 and 3,000. All right,
in the National League,
in the pitchers hit era. Right. Okay, yep. So that would have been a cool. Name me the National Leaguers that spent their whole entire.
Oh, that'd be
year.
Willie Mays. Oh, that'd be Hank Aaron. Yeah, there were guys that you just go.
There aren't very many of them.
No,
I mean you can look it up, but to be the last one and to be in that select group,
the smaller group,
I do. I second guess maybe. Hey, let's. But see, that's me hanging around for numbers, and I swore that I would never do that. My legacy was written well before my career ended, and has nothing to do with having 500 or 3,000 hits. Okay, so me being selfish just to stick around to achieve some numbers, that's not me. That's not how I.
Well, let me also let people know, and you don't again have to go into details. I think we've talked about it. I know we've talked about it off record. You would have had an opportunity to chase numbers and pick up a paycheck, because it's not like your phone didn't ring when you were done, correct?
Correct. But I didn't want to play the game unless I could play it at the level that I was accustomed to. Mm-hmm. And I was getting to the point where I couldn't play the game at the level or put up the numbers that I was accustomed to putting up.
I'm going to make a statement. You tell me if it's accurate or not. Not getting to 500, you think about it, it's a milestone number with 3,000 hits that would have just put you in the rarest of the rare. Had you finished your career hitting 298, which one would have bothered you more?
The 298.
Yeah. Explain to everybody what that. Yeah. I love when people say batting average doesn't matter.
Yeah. You can't tell me it didn't affect Mickey Mantle, who ding. Yes, who finished at I think 298 or 299. Like a 300 hitter, there's a certain badge of honor. Yeah. That goes along with hitting 300, and anybody who finishes at 298 or 299 will tell you, damn it, I wish I could have gotten, 2 more hits.
Right, whatever
career.
It would have been.
Yeah.
And think about it, too. Like somebody has said this, the difference between 250 and 300, if you do the amount of hits a month, it's not what people think it is. But to do it is everything that people know it is.
100%.
Like you can do math on it. And you go, but you can't also get greedy. So I don't know how many games you missed. Was there I saw you, there's a picture probably in your phone. You had an ankle that looked like it was in a plane crash.
Yeah.
Was that I didn't want to ask, was that the worst one when you look down and you go, well, this thing's just blowing up and now it's turning all different colors and there's no way this is going to be a tape job? That's
the first time that I've ever felt like crying on a baseball field. That hurt so bad. Like I've blown ligaments and it hurts. You hear the pop and that pain is excruciating, but it goes away in about 30 seconds. So I get hit with this line drive at third base. Oddly enough, B.J. Upton. He hits a line drive off Tommy Hanson, God rest his soul, to my left. I take a jab step to my left, and I only chance I have is just to olay it, Ball stays down, misses my glove, hits me in the ankle, okay? And the adrenaline kind of, I was like, I'll be okay. But I used to ball my socks up over my high tops down, so it was pretty tight down there, and I could tell that this thing was blowing up, even more so than I can possibly explain to you. I played 2 more innings. I played another at bat, and I came in to Freddie, and I was like, he saw tears in my eyes. He was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "No, I cannot go anymore." And I went and I took my socks off, and I thought I had broken
everything.
Yes, whatever. I thought everything was shattered because from my ankle all the way up to my knee, it was already black and blue. I had a blister the size of a baseball,
right,
where the ball hit me.
Did you have ball stitch marks? Like, wasn't there like if you looked deep enough?
It was just the blister.
Okay,
but the blister was the size of a baseball, and I pinch hit, for maybe 4 or 5 games after that.
Oof.
And I couldn't get the swelling out, so it finally put me on the DL, and they had to go in and surgically lance it and before it would get better. 44 cc's of fluid came out of my ankle.
And that's the one pain-wise. That's the one that
sticks in my.
Yeah, like I could think it. Like people would say, I could smell that Seagram 7. Oh, that was a bad experience.
And I will text you the picture of my leg, and
you send it to me.
You can post it.
Okay.
I mean, and just to show everybody, what it looked like after it happened.
I'm looking at it right now. This is gnarly.
Yeah.
Well, because the other part was, I don't want to say. You're Chipper Jones. I don't think you got in trouble. But you did tell me once that you were going to get a surgery. And I asked you once, twice, 3 times, can I say this out loud? And we're like, yeah, it's going to come out. And remember what happened. And then at some point they said, we can't really tell people we're going to get surgeries around here. So we announced as a team, we're going to get surgeries around here. So I remember, and I remember the pain. So I want you to hear 2 things. And again, it's called bringing the room down. It is bringing the room down. But I need your instant reaction. Because while I'm assuming living it, what it is you felt, when you hear it, what is it you feel?
Simmons, fly ball, shallow left. Back is Cosma. He'll take it. He'll call. Oh, it's going to drop. It falls. Miscommunication. And the bases are loaded, and Boggs can't believe it.
This crowd's been crazy all night. I wonder if it affected their communication.
They're calling it an infield fly rule. One umpire did. That's why Freddie Gonzalez is out. Well, this is a huge call here.
You cannot call that an infield fly.
No way.
It's too deep. He wasn't camped.
That ball went up, and infield fly rule was called immediately. This is a game-changing decision.
Huge disappointment. Obviously, it's the last game that I ever played, the last game that I ever donned a baseball uniform, for it to end in such a manner. Now, in all fairness, we played a horrible defensive baseball game. And, my error throwing the ball into right field on a potential double play on a Matt Holliday smash was the ringleader, but I think everybody on the infield made an error that night. But the game is never over until that 27th out, and to have a infield fly called on a ball that I believe was measured to be 77 feet into the outfield that's a bad call, and I would have liked to have seen where that inning and our offense would have gone had they just let us play.
Do you go look at replay? Like, do you go run it? Like, is there a place for you to go?
I don't know. The infield fly would be one of those off-limits type plays. It's a judgment call, right?
But do you go to look at, like, do you want to go see it on tape? Like, do you at some point go, how bad a call is this? Is this as bad as I think it is? Like, you must be thinking, this is a terrible call.
Yeah, and the one saving grace for the shortstop, I can't remember who the shortstop was that he was waving his arms and saying, I got it, and then all of a sudden, Matt Holliday, I'm going to make a business decision right here. Right. Matt Holliday's bearing down on me.
He's a big one.
But the fact that he was waving his arms saved his bacon, because if he's just running and pulls up, I don't feel like that call is made. I feel like the umpire thought he was under it and had a bead on it, and that's why he made the call.
Can I say this, though? The umpire's job is obviously to get it right. Mm-hmm. If I'm an umpire, and even if I had an inkling, this might be in it, when I see their reaction amongst the two of them, all bets are off. I know what players know. There is no way shortstop and left fielder look at each other the way they did, and you're going to tell me that was in control. Like, if I'm an umpire, Sam Holbrook is the guy. I got to look and go, their body language is telling me that's just miscommunication.
Correct.
So,
and whatever happened to, 5 other guys getting together with Sam and saying, Sam, our safety may be in trouble walking out of here tonight. Man, it was 75 feet into the outfield. Maybe we let the play stand, as a single,
When you go back on the field, do you say anything? Like, you're looking at an umpire. Are you going, are you kidding me? Or, I know you can't get thrown out. I know you're not supposed to run out of the dugout. We saw what happens. The manager's pissed, rightfully so. But do you say anything at any point? Home plate umpire, third base umpire.
No, because Sam was a pretty defensive umpire as well.
So it would have ratcheted?
Yeah, and I just don't think, emotions were high. It's a playoff game. It was the first ever wild card game, I believe, and it's my last game. The house is packed. I got a standing O every time I came to the plate that game.
You feel robbed, to the outcome?
I would have felt robbed if we had played a cleaner game.
Okay.
I feel like the fact that we were even in that situation and behind, because Medlin was pitching a hell of a game. Freddie sits McCann in favor of Rossi, and Rossi hits the 2-run homer. And then, our defense just fell apart. I think if it was 2-0 and they had scrapped and clawed for to get it back to 2-2, and then that happens and we end up losing in extras or something like that, then that would have been a much tougher pill to swallow.
Right.
But I did a ton of interviews after the game, and the first thing I pointed to was, look, we didn't play a clean game on defense. We were in that situation for a reason, and we didn't play well. So I tried to shield Holbrook as much as I could, but it was a bad call.
I was chasing Joe Torre down the hall. Torre had to do a press conference. He was like the head of the umpires, whatever the hell his job was.
Yeah.
And I'm screaming, you better make this blank and right. Joe, if you're having a press conference, you better fix this. I got Joe Torre and all these people from baseball.
What's he going to do? What's he going to do in the annals of Turner Field after the fact?
I thought what he should have declared is this game is now null and void. We'll play it again tomorrow. That's what I thought he should do. He's Joe Torre.
I am in total agreement with you.
Thank you.